Hello everyone, God bless you all and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Prophetess Shanique Beckford, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to discern the difference between having a true spiritual father or having a spiritual pimp. See, when you have grown to love your spiritual father, to love your prophet, your pastor, and they have been so good to you, it is very hard for one to be able to discern and to distinguish where something has shifted and they're now operating out of spiritual witchcraft because they no longer have the fear of God. A lot of our spiritual leaders and spiritual mentors have started out right, and along the way they became messed up for whatever reason. And sometimes the love or the honor, what you think is honor for that person, will cause you to become blinded. That quote unquote honor, which is no longer honor for many persons but more like idolatry, it has placed a veil over your eyes, so you're now not able to discern the spirit through which they are operating in. So I'm going to go ahead in this video and share some points with you that will help you to determine, do you need to leave from the covering of this leader? Do you need to change church? Do you need to pray about what's going on? This is going to help you to make your decisions as you transition or to begin to pray for your spiritual mentor. Let's get into 1 Kings 13 and verse 11. So we're going to read a few verses, and this will help us to understand what a spiritual witchcraft leader looks like as opposed to a spiritual father. Now, verse 11 says, by the way, if you haven't liked the video, please go ahead, like the video, leave a comment in the comment section. The more you like, the more you comment, it helps the algorithm to share the video so many more persons can see the content and they too can also be blessed. So let's go. Verse 11. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came to him and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel. The words which he spoke unto the king, them they told also to their father. And their father said unto them, what way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, saddle me an ass. So they saddled him an ass, and he rode thereon. And went after the man of God. He found him sitting under an oak, and he said unto him, art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go with thee, neither will I eat bread or drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, do not ignore the word of the Lord. It doesn't matter how young of a prophet you are. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt eat no bread, nor drink water there, nor turn to go by the way that thou camest. And he said unto him, I am a prophet also. And an angel spoke to me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee unto thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. Father, thank you for your word. Thank you for your spirit. Thank you that you are the spirit of truth. You can love them so much because of all they have done for you that it creates a veil over your spiritual eyes, that you're not able to see who they have actually truly become. So first thing is, spiritual fathers, they sow into their children and they do not pimp them by demanding their cut. A lot of spiritual leaders, a lot of our prophets will sow into us, will give into us, will help us because they have ulterior motives. They have an evil agenda attached. And so this is why many of you will see that your spiritual leaders will help you. But for the fact that they have helped you, you're now theirs. And what they actually do is they buy you out. They give you titles. And some of us, we love titles so much that we're getting the recognition, we're getting the attention that we would have always wanted. So now this prophetic leader, this spiritual leader has now given you a title, has now given you a post or position in this church. They've blessed you with finances. Maybe they gave you a car. I don't know what they did for you, but a lot of these spiritual leaders will bless you to a certain extent, and then it creates a form of guilt because when they have helped you to this level, it becomes now hard for you to leave because you don't want to disrespect, you don't want to dishonor because they've helped you. There's some of these leaders that will go to the extent to tell you, know that we have done this for you. This is what we expect you to do for the church. True spiritual leaders will sow into their children because they see where they're going and what God is able to do through them. They're not doing it because they expect anything in return. Spiritual fathers, they teach integrity, and integrity means doing the right things or doing things the right way. Pimps, on the other hand, they teach you discretion, and this is just don't get caught. So they're not telling you these are things you should not do. They're telling you do not get caught doing certain things, and if you get caught, we'll cover you so you can continue doing whatever you're doing. No, spiritual leaders are supposed to teach you the right and the godly way in which things should actually get done. Spiritual fathers, they correct to restore. Pimps, on the other hand, they correct to drive fear. When a spiritual father or someone that should have been a spiritual father, parent, or covering for you corrects you because they want to drive fear and intimidation, that's not God, and this is either spiritual witchcraft or the beginning of spiritual witchcraft. See, it is only God that brings about that fear or that reverence of God. We should not fear a spiritual leader in the sense that you don't want to do anything because of what they will do or what they will say. A lot of spiritual leaders, the things that they know about you, they use it over your heads, and before you know it, they start preaching about it. This person, that person, everyone in the church knows about the situation that you've been through because your spiritual parent, or what should have been or whom should have been a spiritual parent, they correct you to drive fear and to bring you into a place of intimidation, so you begin to fear them. The only person you fear is God, not man. It is God that gives life, and he's the one and only person that can take it away from you. So you do not fear spiritual leaders. You honor them, but you don't fear them. You fear God. So fathers will birth you and develop you, while pimps will use your gift for their own agenda. When you have a spiritual father that has identified your gift and they begin to nurture you, but the way in which they're nurturing you, you're also being taught your gift is for this church, your gift is for this ministry. You're not permitted to go anywhere else. You're not permitted to serve anywhere else. You're not permitted to help anywhere else. Your gift is only supposed to be used within the church. They make you feel guilty for attending, any other conference, any other seminar, for helping family, for helping friends. You're really taught your gift is for this church, and you feel guilty even if you're not able to show up for them for the ministry because you have genuine excuses. There was a genuine reason why you're not able to show up. They guilt trip you for not showing up because they have trained you to use your gift to bring glory to the church, to build the church. A lot of these spiritual leaders are not training you so your gift will bring glory to God. They're training you so your gift will build the church, and so they build a ministry based on your gifts. You're the best singer, so you're being highlighted. You're the one that can pray. You're gifted to pray. You're gifted to do this. You're gifted to do that. And so they build a ministry by putting you on the forefront. Do not become distracted. Do not become deceived by the fact that you are doing something thinking that you're giving glory to God, but you're actually doing it only for the benefit of the church. And if you don't show up for once or maybe once or twice, you're being guilt tripped. Something is wrong, and you need to begin to pay attention to this. Fathers are examples, and they push you into your purpose. Spiritual pimps will push you to perform. A lot of these churches that we see, there's a whole performance, but God is not being glorified from it. They seek gifted people. See, false prophets and prophets who are in spiritual witchcraft, they're not bringing glory to God. What they're doing is a whole performance. A lot of what you see being done in church is just the theatrics of ministry. They have gifted people, false prophets and Jezebels, warlocks. They always seek out gifted people. And that's what a lot of people do not identify with. Prophets are able to tell that you're gifted. They're able to tell that you are anointed. They're able to tell that God is going to use you. And so they will literally try to get you into their fold, into their cult of a church. because they want to tell you that they're grooming you, they're training you, and you have so much purpose. But the purpose that they see within you is only for their church, and you can do nothing else. Even if God is sending you somewhere else to do something, you're not permitted to do it. You have to pay attention to this. Now, this is where manipulation and control comes into play. Spiritual fathers will teach you and guide you, but they will not control you. It is the duty and the responsibility for spiritual fathers to teach you the things which are right, to teach you the right way, to help to guide you, but they cannot control the decisions that you make. See, as a parent, I have a son, and as he begins to grow, as my children begins to grow, I can teach them the right way, but I cannot control the things that they do. I can't control the decisions that they make, because everyone is their own individual. You are your own adult. You are your own individual. You have your own minds to make your own decisions. As spiritual leaders, we should be teaching you and guiding you, but we cannot make decisions for you. We cannot control decisions that you make. And a lot of these spiritual witchcraft leaders, they will try to control you by telling you, you have to come to this church. You can't go to another church. You can't do that. You can't marry this person. You can't go to study this. You can't work at this place. They try to control everything that you do in your life. That's witchcraft. Whenever there's control, there's also going to be manipulation. And these spiritual leaders, when it comes to manipulation, they do not know the difference between correcting and guiding someone or actually manipulating them. It's easily overlooked. Manipulation is easily overlooked because it's very subtle. They're not going to do it as bold. At least some will not do it as bold. But spiritual manipulation will often be by persons who are very skilled and who are very subtle. So they will do subtle things such as, if you leave this church, God is not going to answer your prayers the way he used to. If you leave this church, there's no way that you're going to be able to keep the blessings. The atmosphere of this church is what is causing you to be blessed. Wherever you go that God has sent you, the Spirit of God will go with you. Understand that it is God who has blessed you and no one else. You deserve the blessings that God has given to you. You deserve the favor that God has placed upon your life. You deserve everything that God has given to you. And so we have to learn how to understand that it is God that blesses you and not man. So spiritual fathers, they deserve honor, but they do not deserve worship. And so when you have come to a point in your life where you have found that every decision you make, it is out of fear of what your pastor, what your leader is going to say or think. Every decision, everything you do, it is because you're first thinking about what your pastor will say, what their actions will be like. If you miss church, you're terrified, you're mortified because you don't know what's going to happen. If you miss a season of church, you fear that God is going to take everything that he has given to you because you're no longer going to that church. There's some leaders that I have seen that has gone to the extreme to tell a lot of people that have been a member of my church that if you leave this church, everything that you have, you're going to lose it. That is a curse from the pit of hell. That's a curse. And so a lot of persons, they fall into a trap of control. When you are doing things because you're told you have to do it, you're doing it because you're told you have to do it. You're doing it out of fear of what may possibly happen based on what your leader said. You fall into control, and the things you begin to do, you start doing it out of idolatry because now you're pleasing your leader and you're no longer pleasing God. When you start doing things because you fear the repercussions, when you start doing things because you're being threatened, when you start doing things because you're fearful of what your leader may say or do, then you're at a point where you're no longer serving God. But this is spiritual idolatry. Everything you do, you're doing for your leader, you're not doing it for God. If you're only leading worship because your pastor told you you have to do it, are you doing it for God or are you doing it for them? This is control and it is manipulation. We have to be very careful. A lot of people do not know the difference between honor and worship. Honor is high or great respect for someone. Worship is when you make them your God, where everything you do, you have to consult. You're going to marry someone, you have to consult. You're going to apply for school, you have to consult. You're going into a new job, you have to first consult. You're traveling somewhere, you have to consult. You want to do some online course, you have to consult. You want to take a trip with your friends, you have to consult. Your family has a meeting, you want to go, but maybe you have to be at church for some reason, you have to consult. Every decision you make, you have to consult with your leaders as though you are not a grown adult. I'm not saying when you honor your leader, there are some things you're going to do. There are certain life-changing decisions you need to make. Certain life-changing things you can talk to your leader because you want prayer, you want guidance, but you're not consulting before you do things because you must find out what is it that my spiritual papa or mama is saying. No, that's spiritual idolatry. Especially if you are told before you do anything, you have to come and talk to me first. There are many churches, everything that they have, I've seen it. I've had members come to my church that has had to be delivered from these things. Everything they have accomplished, they have to first give half to the church. Everything that they have accomplished, they have purchased, everything in their possession, they have to give a record of it to the church so the church can keep track of everything that they have claimed or everything that they have gained. This is spiritual witchcraft, and a lot of people do not know. They're trained or they're taught to believe that this is honor. That is idolatry. Here's two more. Spiritual fathers know how to bless you and release you when your time has come to an end. A lot of persons are watching this video right now and they have identified that they're in a cult, another church. They have identified that their spiritual leaders have changed. They're no longer about God. They're just about self-glory, self-gratification. And now you're thinking about leaving. When you have a true spiritual father who is after the heart of God, they desire the very best, the utmost best for you, that God will use you above and beyond. When you begin to say to them, it's time for me to transition, to move somewhere else, there's no hard feelings, nothing happened, I just feel that my time is up. I hear God say my time is up. If a true spiritual leader has poured into you and given you everything that they have, truly they will bless and release you. Even if you are making a mistake in leaving before your time is up there and they're genuine, you're leaving because you are making a mistake, it is up to that spiritual leader to tell you that they're blessing you and releasing you, and they will still be there if you need them to be there for you for any given reason. But spiritual leaders, they do not curse you as you leave. When you leave, they don't call and tell everyone everything that happened, everything that they did for you. They do not curse you. They bless you and they release you. At the end of the day, we belong to God, not men. And a lot of these pastors, these prophets, these spiritual mentors, these spiritual coverings, they believe that they own you, and so you're not permitted to leave because they want to build the number and the membership of their church. So you're not permitted to leave. Gifted people are not safe sitting under pimps, warlocks, Jezebels, and prophets who have given themselves to spiritual witchcraft. You have to begin to identify and distinguish that which is good and that which is evil. And this concerns the leader you're sitting under. If you discern that something is not right and you have been praying for your leader and there is still no change, you have to be very careful how this leader is pouring into you. Before you know, these are things that will begin to affect your peace, your joy, your ability to serve. You'll find that your desire for God, desire for prayer, these things are literally beginning to trickle down. They're not as it was before. Many persons, their marriages are being affected because their leaders are telling them, you have to come to church, you have to do this, you have to do that. Marriages are being affected, homes are being affected, children are being affected. And if you are now in a point in your life where you're being affected psychologically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, maritally, whatever it is, God is saying to you that your time is up here and you should not be sitting under any form of spiritual witchcraft. I want you guys to go ahead, leave in the comment section, what is your experience? I want you guys to call no names on this channel, on this video. Don't call any names, but I want you to put in the comment section, what is it that was discerned to you that's someone who is self-proclaimed to be a prophet, or someone who was once good to you but they changed, they fell into witchcraft. What is it that God has revealed to you that they did? Maybe it can help someone in the comment section. It could be sexual assault, it could be unforgiveness, it could be robbery of your finances or possessions, whatever it is. Leave it in the comment section. It may be very subtle. Leave it in the comment section. It may just encourage someone today so they can be free from the yoke of bondage under this church of spiritual witchcraft. I do hope that this has helped, that it has opened your eyes, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, leave a comment, as I said, subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet. God bless you and have a beautiful rest of the day.